Now I swear by the sun, God Utu, on this very day, and my younger brothers shall be witness of it, in foreign lands where the sons of Sumer are not known, where people do not have the use of paved roads, where they have no access to the written word, that I, the firstborn son, am a fashioner of words, a composer of songs, a composer of words, and that they will recite my songs as heavenly writings, and that they will bow down before my words. King Shulgi, on the future of Sumerian literature, circa 2100 BC. The sacred texts of some of the world's most important religions contain astrophysical information that aligns with modern science. In Modern Science in Ancient Texts, Henry M. Morris, Ph.D., states, "The Book of Job is one of the oldest books in the world, yet it contains numerous references to natural systems and phenomena. Some of these references involve facts of science not discovered by scientists until recent centuries, yet they were recorded in Job almost 4,000 years ago. A good example is in 26.7, he writes, "He stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing." While ancient mythologies may imagine the earth to be carried on the shoulders of Atlas, or on the back of a giant turtle, Morris notes, Job correctly noted that it is suspended in space. There is also the astonishing paradox of finding clear astronomical information hidden in the Book of Enoch, or concise data about the shape of the universe and its age in Hindu texts. In Advanced Scientific Knowledge in Ancient Indian Scriptures, Sanjay K. Mohindru states, "The Vedas, for example, contain detailed descriptions of the universe, including its origin, structure, and functioning. They describe the sun, moon, stars, and planets and their orbits, as well as the cycles of day and night, seasons, and eclipses. The Puranas contain descriptions of various living creatures, including humans, animals, and plants, and their characteristics, behavior, and habitat. The analysis of these ancient manuscripts is supported by archaeological evidence from other cultures, such as the Egyptian, Babylonian, and Sumerian civilizations. These cultures reveal knowledge about the Earth's spherical shape, its position in the solar system, the cycles of the outer planets, and, in the case of the Sumerians, even the existence of a 10th planet. According to Zechariah Sitchin, the Sumerians described it as being 4 times greater than the Earth, reddish in color, and with an orbital period of 3,600 years compared to that of Earth. Modern astronomy has been tracking this hypothetical planet for some years, as its existence was postulated based on certain gravitational effects observed in the orbits of some comets. Dr. Robert S. Harrington, former head of the U.S. Naval Observatory, calculated several parameters of Planet X and its orbit. Harrington started from the perturbations in the orbits of Neptune and Uranus, knowing that Pluto could not be responsible for them. The observations he used were supplied by the Nautical Almanac Office of the U.S. Naval Observatory and go back as far as 1833 for Uranus and 1846 for Neptune. These anomalies disturb official science because they challenge many historical dogmas and cast doubt on the veracity of the past, as taught in academic institutions. They may have disturbed more than just academics. Harrington met an untimely death shortly after declaring that he had found the mysterious planet. What message do you think was sent to Sitchin, Van Flandern, and anyone else in the know when Harrington suddenly met with an early death at the same time the scope was being pulled back? Sometimes an early death is meant to accomplish more than just keeping one person quiet. Mark Hazelwood, Blindsided. Let us delve into the topic with some of the most significant examples of astronomical data. Surya Siddhanta, a Hindu text, is the first among the traditions or doctrines in archaeoastronomy of the Vedic era. It is the oldest book in the world, which describes the Earth as a sphere. And everywhere upon the globe of the Earth, men think their own place to be uppermost. But since it is a globe in the ether, where should there be an upper, or where an underside of it? Owing to the littleness of their own bodies, men looking in every direction from the position they occupy, behold this Earth, although it is globular, as having the form of a wheel. 32nd verse, 12th chapter, Surya Siddhanta. The Surya Siddhanta also estimates the diameters of the planets. Wikipedia, which often takes a skeptical stance on topics considered fantastic, states, the estimate for the diameter of Mercury is 3,008 miles, an error of less than 1% from the currently accepted diameter of 3,032 miles. The article continues, it also estimates the diameter of Saturn as 73,882 miles, which again has an error of less than 1% from the currently accepted diameter of 74,580 miles. How could the author have known this? The Surya Siddhanta also explains that gravity is the reason for objects falling on Earth, etc. Objects fall on Earth due to a force of attraction by the Earth. Therefore, the Earth, planets, constellations, Moon and Sun are held in orbit due to this attraction. Bear in mind that these calculations were formulated thousands of years, if not millions of years, before Sir Isaac Newton came to the same conclusion. The Hindus state, this is the knowledge that the sun god gave to an asura called Maya in Treta Yuga. This Maya is the father-in-law of Ravana, the villain of the first ever epic poem Ramayana. Going by calculations of yugas, the first version of Surya Siddhanta must have been known around 2 million years ago. There are many more examples of scientific knowledge in Surya Siddhanta. Official science, of course, considers all this to be mere coincidence. Whether coincidence or not, these scientific truths are an integral part of Hindu anthropological reality. The discovery of the Sumerian civilization also brought numerous scientific surprises. The term Sumer refers to a specific southern region of Mesopotamia, near the point where the Tigris and Euphrates empty into the Persian Gulf. In 1850, during archaeological explorations conducted by the young British diplomat Austin Layard and his assistant Hormuzd Rassam, 30,000 tablets containing secrets of various ancient civilizations were unearthed from the sandy depths of Kuyunjik Hill near Baghdad. This was, in fact, remnants of the city of Nineveh and the library of Ashurbanipal. In Stairway to Heaven, Zecharia Sitchin provides information about the Assyrian king Ashurbanipal, highlighting his dedication to preserving ancient knowledge. A king of great culture, Ashurbanipal collected every text he could lay his hands on, Sitchin writes. He notes that Ashurbanipal's commitment extended beyond collecting. In addition, he set his scribes to copy and translate texts otherwise unavailable. Many tablets were identified by the scribes as copies of olden texts. Sitchin provides a specific example. A group of 23 tablets, for example, ended with the postscript. 23rd tablet, language of Sumer not changed. Ashurbanipal himself confirmed his remarkable intellectual achievements in an inscription. The god of scribes has bestowed on me the gift of the knowledge of his art, the king declared. I have been initiated into the secrets of writing. I can even read the intricate tablets in Sumerian. I understand the enigmatic words in the stone carvings from the days before the deluge. It wasn't until 1873 that another Englishman named George Smith travelled to this site in search of a missing tablet, essential to completing his translations. Soon after he arrived at the archaeological site, he found the missing piece and, in the process, recovered an additional 3,000 tablets. As the story goes, George Smith began finding fragments that hinted at an ancient flood narrative. In 1872, Smith found a large fragment covered with a thick deposit, which, when removed, revealed a large part of the flood narrative. The account states, the discovery was a pivotal moment in his career. Reportedly, upon realizing what he had uncovered, Smith exclaimed, I am the first man to read that after more than 2,000 years of oblivion. In his excitement, he put the tablet on a table and ran around the room maniacally, taking off his clothes. George Smith, The Chaldean Account of the Deluge. As a result of these early exploratory campaigns, we know that Sumerian civilization dates back about 6,000 years. It was an organized society, although little is known about the origins of its technological, cultural, and religious processes. On the subject of Sumerian origins, nobody seems to know where they came from. Their language was different from that of other tribes living in the region. In fact, if you read 4 different books, you could easily come across 4 entirely different stories. Despite this gap, we know they had a political system led by kings and priests, legal institutions, a monetary standard, and a syllabic writing system that later became the basis for Akkadian. In Zecharia Sitchin's widely popular book, The 12th Planet, he emphasizes the importance of the Sumerian cuneiform texts. Sitchin writes, "Many of the world's museums count among their prize exhibits the ceremonial gates, winged bulls, bas-reliefs, chariots, tools, utensils, jewelry, statues, and other objects made of every conceivable material that have been dug out of the mounds of Assyria and Babylonia. But the true treasures of these kingdoms," he continues, "were their written records. These cuneiform records include cosmologic tales, epic poems, histories of kings, temple records, commercial contracts, marriage and divorce records, astronomical tables, astrological forecasts, mathematical formulas, geographic lists, grammar and vocabulary school texts," Sitchin explains. He adds, "and not least of all, texts dealing with the names, genealogies, epithets, deeds, powers and duties of the gods." The Sumerians developed mathematics for practical purposes and created a lunar calendar with 12 months of 30 days and 24 hours each. They measured time with sundials and water clocks, and had folklore, advanced medicine, and a sophisticated astronomical science. The Sumerians had detailed knowledge about the Earth's orbital plane, tilt axis, spherical shape, and precession behavior of its equinox were known by the Sumerian deities, who were also credited for the construction of the zodiac. Contrast this detailed level of knowledge in Sumer with that possessed in Europe during the Middle Ages. Scientists and church authorities in Europe were at odds whether the Earth was round or flat, while the people of Sumeria and the surrounding region had advanced mathematics, metallurgy, law codes, and produced many civilization-first inventions and advanced achievements. Jeff Roberts, The Origins of Mankind. Joan Dark, writing on Sitchin's theories, states, "Sitchin believes that the impossible knowledge of the Sumerians was imparted to them by Anunnaki space travelers. This knowledge," she continues, "was recorded in a series of texts forming the basis of ancient science and religion, and was translated into many languages, including Greek and Biblical Hebrew." According to Sitchin, all ancient mythologies stem from this original knowledge imparted to Earthlings by spacefaring ETI hailing from this wayward bowling ball, Nibiru. Joan Dark writes, Sitchin also asserts that the Anunnaki referred to Earth as Eridu, meaning home away from home. In the Cosmic Code, Sitchin argues that the Anunnaki used their detailed sky charts to group the stars into constellations. Dark says, Sitchin claims that these constellations were named to honor Anunnaki leaders. For example, the Sumerian god Ea, whose home is water, was honored by the zodiacal signs of Aquarius and Pisces. But what interests us here specifically is what has been called the Nineveh constant. In Our Ancestors Came from Outer Space, Maurice Chatelain, a former NASA engineer, states, "For thousands of years, astrologers and mathematicians have been greatly impressed by the majestic regularity of the stars moving in the skies. For millenniums, they tried hard to discover the secrets of this marvelous clock." He continues, "These sky watchers realized that a very long period of time, one probably encompassing millions of years, had to exist that would represent in even numbers the revolutions of all the celestial objects. At the end of such a constant period, all the bodies of the firmament would again find themselves in their original positions on the band of the zodiac," he adds, describing the cyclical nature of the great constant. These astrologers and mathematicians called this timespan the Great Constant, or the Great Year. Chatelain notes, "They did not know that indeed this number existed and had been calculated tens of thousands of years before their time," he writes, "but then it was lost and forgotten as cataclysmic natural disasters and wars destroyed one civilization after another." Chatelain explains, "The astrologers tried in vain to find the Great Constant and finally gave up. But now, by a chain of strange coincidences, this magical number has been found on an old clay tablet from Nineveh. The truly extraordinary thing about it is that its mathematical analysis reveals astronomical cycles that should not have been known in that historical context. The mathematical tablets reveal the use, just as in the Mayan calendar, of extremely large numerical values. The Maya were indeed fantastic astronomers. The respected Mayanist J. Eric Thompson reports that they calculated a date over 500 million years in the past without an error. The Yajur Veda, which some scholars believe was composed around 1400 BC, also invokes successive powers of 10 up to a trillion. In Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids, Peter Tompkins presents the conclusions of Chatelain, who also studied the Mayan calendar system. Chatelain claims that a figure for 147,420,000,000 days occurs in the Mayan glyphs. This is supposed to represent 78,170 cycles of 260 Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions, one conjunction happening every 20 years. Chatelain presented many other equally astounding calculations. William R. Fix, Atlantis, the legendary place. Among all the quantities recorded on the Sumerian clay tablets, one number stood out above the rest. It was a 15-digit figure, close to 200 trillion, 195,955,200,000. We still do not know for sure who the Sumerians were and where they came from, but we have found out that they were truly great astronomers who knew the revolution periods of all the planets in the solar system, including Uranus and Neptune. They were the ones who divided the day of 86,400 seconds into 24 hours of 60 minutes with 60 seconds each. Our ancestors came from outer space. Maurice Chatelain. Immediately, experts worldwide tried to find an explanation for the incredibly large number. Success came when Chatelain realized, based on certain archaeological evidence, that the Sumerians seemed to know the existence of all the planets in the solar system, including the outer ones. Immediately the realization came to me that the number of Nineveh represented the value of a very, very long period of time, expressed in seconds, said Chatelain. It didn't take long to realize that this number represented exactly 2.268 billion days of 86,400 seconds each, 24 hours of 60 minutes with 60 seconds per minute, he remarked excitedly. Additionally, Chatelain recalled that the Sumerians, like other ancient cosmic cultures, were aware of the precession of the equinoxes. For those unfamiliar with the concept, J. Montagnier explains it in his book, The Greatest Shift in 26,000 Years. The precession of the equinoxes refers to the shifting orientation of the Earth's axis, caused by the pull of the gravitational forces of the Sun and other celestial bodies. He continues, these forces cause the Earth's axis to be slightly tilted, and as it spins, it wobbles slightly over time, similar to the motion of a spinning top. The time that it takes for the Earth's poles to come full circle to point to their original positions again is variable, Montagnier notes, adding that this period falls within a band of 24,000 to 26,000 years. The estimated average length of one completed precession of the equinox's cycle is currently defined as 25,772 years, he concludes. Maurice Chatelain states, Sumerians appeared to have encoded this long period in their numerical records. I translated the 26,000-year approximate precession cycle into days, obtaining a total of 9,450,000, he explains, highlighting his calculations to express this cycle in terms of days. Then I noted that 2.268 billion days represent exactly 240 cycles of precession, each containing 9,450,000 days, Chatelain continues. This revealed the Nineveh number as the Sumerian representation of solar system cycles, expressed in seconds. This number even aligns with cosmic phenomena invisible to ancient observers, such as Pluto's sidereal revolution period of 90,720 days, Chatelain concludes. The question arises, who conveyed knowledge of Pluto's existence to the Sumerians? Sumerian tablets indicate either previously inherited knowledge or acquired skill at astronomy and mathematics, apparently adopting already learned mathematical astronomical cycles of the planets, which they tagged wandering stars, including Mars. Dave Stern, Anomalous Observations of Mars. Sumerian records also mention another planet beyond Pluto. The Mesopotamian seal, VAT/243, conserved at the Berlin State Museum, portrays the solar system, including all known planets in their correct order. Notably, it includes a large planet between Mars and Jupiter, where today only an asteroid belt remains. The planet Nibiru, as it came into the solar system on its 3,600-year clockwise retrograde elliptical course, struck Tiamat, which was moving in its ordained counterclockwise orbit. This smashed one half of the planet into pieces, which became what the Sumerians called the Great Band, known to us as the asteroid belt. The remaining half of the planet, which was struck by a smaller moon of Nibiru, was catapulted into a new orbit, along with a chunk of material which became its moon. This remaining half is the planet we live on today, Earth. Despite skepticism, archaeological evidence and interpretations such as Sitchin's suggest that ancient cultures had advanced astronomical knowledge, possibly influenced by external instructors. Who were these instructors? Could they have been advanced beings misinterpreted as gods by ancient societies? Sitchin is sure of it and claims that the Sumerians called them the Anunnaki. Mankind's progression from Paleolithic, Old Stone Age, to Mesolithic, Middle Stone Age, to Neolithic, New Stone Age, and to the Great Sumerian civilization occurred in intervals of about 3,600 years. This is a fact. That Anu visited Earth and approved the granting of civilization, knowledge, science, technology to mankind is also certain. As mentioned, 3,600 years is the time it takes the Anunnaki home planet Nibiru to do one full orbit and swing back around near our planet. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now the big question is, when will we see this planet next? That's a topic for another day. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with another video as soon as possible.